Hi, welcome back. This is your girl Yavo. I am back with another recap of season 5, Raising Kanan. This is episode 6, and we are back from the infamous ass whooping that Mr. Marvin has laid down on his nephew Kanan. Thank God Juke was there, because my God, today, yeah, that's what we came back from. So we open up with this scene of, Rock coming clean to Marvin and letting him know how their youngest brother Lou really died, and I'm proud of her for telling the truth, because Rock doesn't do that well, especially when she there's room for accountability. So I give her credit for telling Marvin the whole truth. But Marvin, and she does, she tells him how Lou dies, where she put his body away. But Marvin is, he is, still seeming hurt and in disgust, and is basically saying, like, you knew what you was doing because you was protecting Kanan, which is the truth. Because I don't know how the way she just went into it, but, like, that's why I kept saying, like, I don't know how this is going to go, with how they're going to continue as a family and the trust once Marvin finds out. So he's looking, even though Rock is come fully clean, it's still not a positive feeling afterwards. So I don't know again how this is going to go and manifest, even with Marvin and Kanan, because thank God Juke was there again. Because is Kanan going to, like, get revenge? I don't know. How is this going to... I'm just like, Lord. So this is where we at with this. So next we got Kanan and Drita. She's over there rubbing on Kanan's bruises from his ass beating from his Uncle Marvin. And she's trying to find out why he got beat up, but he's, slowly starting to tell her, like, I'm a street hustler, trying to play it down a bit. And then he reveals to her that he doesn't tell her that Rock is his mom, but that he know her, and knew that when they first met that that she worked with her or worked for her, and he was trying to get some information at first, but now he grew feelings for her, supposedly. And of course, rightfully so, Drita is very upset, because she was catching genuine feelings, and he was a stranger to her, and now she's just, like, not feeling like she can trust him, and doesn't feel like he's being genuine. And he's letting her know, like, no, I really got feelings for you, and I didn't plan on it. And I think Kanan does have feelings for her, because if Kanan didn't care, he wouldn't even said all that. He would have let her go, and I don't even think he would have let her even see him like that if he didn't have feelings for her. But even just because somebody has feelings for you still doesn't mean you can trust them completely, because he did lie and keep that secret from her. And then he's still not being forthcoming about who Rock is to him. He's just saying, like, I know or had dealings with the lady that you work for, that works with Flossie. So, you know, he's still he's still lying about that, even though I do believe that he has feelings for Drita. So she's seeming like she was taking the bait, so she might still continue to deal with Kanan. So we'll see. And then we move back to Marvin and Rock in Rock's home, in her dining room. And Marvin's mind is still racing and trying to process everything that Rock is telling him and coming clean with about Lou's death. And she also lets Marvin know that she found out that their Middle Eastern connect got killed, and that's going to be a major issue in the business, and she got to figure out how to get a new person. And Marvin's looking at her like, how can you be thinking about it? Like, fuck the business. Like, like our family's in shambles. And she's just like, I know your mind's racing, but we got to get back to business. He's like, girl, please. And she's like, if we don't get this shit together, it's like, we're done. So I don't know how they're going to continue to move forward and work together. I don't know how this is going to go. So we'll see how, now that the truth is out, how this is going to be affecting the dynamics and the trust and just everything. Because I don't think this is gonna go too well with Marvin and Rock and even Juke. I just don't see it going well. So we shall see how it goes. So next we see Mr. Breeze staking out outside some club and following some mafioso looking guy. I don't know if he's Italian or Latin, and he's like coming out the club, getting in the car, and he like is subtly following him. So still got to see what that's about and what that means, and how that's going to be unveiled. Mr. Breeze is always up to something. And then next we have Kanan and Drita back at Kanan's crib. They're still hashing things out, um, and just talking more about how they're gonna move forward. And she's still feeling like he's playing her and he's pimping her, and she doesn't need another pimp, and rightfully so. So I'm just glad she's being real about it and the reality of the situation. But he's claiming he has feelings for her, and he does reveal to her that Rock is his mother, because first he's saying he had dealings with her, used to work with her, and he does say like, oh, that's my mom. And then of course Rita's just like, what is going on? And he's saying, oh, it doesn't sound as bad as it does. And he's just downplaying the whole thing, even though he's coming clean at the same time. And he's still claiming that he cares about her, and he's not Flossie or Rock, and he doesn't want to pimp her, and he has feelings for her, and that's his feelings, that's what's in his heart. I don't believe him. And she's saying like, oh, like, he's like, I want to protect you. And she's like, oh, I want to protect you too. So she's like, oh, I want to protect you too, but don't lie to me again. I'm like, girl, he's a pathological liar like his mother. So that's not going to be very realistic. So we'll see how their relationship continues to go. But at least she know what she's dealing with now. So I hope she acts accordingly. But we'll see. And so next we have Detective Garcia. He's in this precinct with some top person in the police department, still asking questions about Famous's death and just trying to get more information, and claiming he got close with Famous's mom, and he's just trying to give her some answers, just laying it on thick so he can give Juke information. And the guy he's talking to, he's just like saying like, oh, you worked with Omar Epps' character, that detective, it was Detective Howard, I think. And he's saying like, oh, you're trying to say like I'm dirty and I'm not dirty. And he's like, no, I know you clean, even though Garcia's dirty. And he's like, no, I know that I'm just saying like you shouldn't trust anyone at your precinct, and everyone is shady. You can't even trust the clocks. And he's basically saying like I think what is he? The captain, the old captain, the black dude who was resigning like at the beginning of the season. Like he's saying like he had something to do or knew information about Famous's death, and he didn't resign on his own. That was basically a front, and he's a little bit kind of tainted and dirty himself. And he was like, And I don't. I said too much to you. I don't want to tell you more. So Garcia is just looking around like, what the fuck? So this goes deeper, and I googled and remembered that it was fucking Pop and Smoke, Pop and Snap, fucking Breeze's aunt and uncle. Was it Pop and Snap? I think I said Pop and Smoke, but Pop and Snap. They were the ones who I were behind Famous dying. I think they got some like crooked cops to kill him and pinning it on and trying, and now it's looking making it seem like uh Rock killed. So they're just lying galore to Kanan. So he already was thinking that she killed his old girlfriend, and she did not. They Pop and Snap, they the one who killed. So they killed his Kanan's ex girlfriend and his best friend, and he working with them. Like, it's bananas. So I think they probably were connected and had dealings with that old captain. Probably it had to, because they're behind his death. So we'll see what it was and what the connection is. But Garcia just found that out. So we'll see if he decides to tell that to Juke, or he wants to find out more, to have more information to tell the Juke. So who knows? That's the new info right now. So we have Mr. Breeze still lurking around, watching that this like mafioso type dude who seems like he has a lot of money. Watching his ins and outs. He's still watching him go in and out of buildings. He's only doing it at night. He laying low, but one of the guy's crew peeped Breeze park, so he's like, "Oh, you can't park here." So Breeze left because he ain't want no problems. And then also we see the same mafioso type looking guy. I can't say mafioso. I guess like he just looks like a wealthy businessman, but he looks overseas. I don't know if it's like Middle East or North Africa. But come to find out, he is meeting up with. He's at the old storefront of Rocks, that she's trying to get rid of, and she's meeting with the same Rocks real estate dude. So it looks like that's the guy who is potentially going to be taking over, so Rock could get money for that spot. But it's not clear if Breeze is aware of that, if Breeze is looking on his own, or Stefano has him up to this. That isn't clear yet, so we shall see on that. And then next we have Juke and Kanan talking. Post his ass his ass beating from Marvin, and Juke is just like, saying like, not even Juke. Kanan is saying like it was a freak accident and I didn't mean to, and I wouldn't have, I didn't do it on purpose, and I was only over there because of my mom, and she took it over. She was like, I was gonna tell y'all, but um, his mom took it over and said she wanted to handle it, deal with it, and she messed it up just like she does everything. And Juke is just like disgusted. She was just like, how you gonna there you go blaming your mom again. One minute you can't say you want to be a man, and then acting, she said he acting like a bitch, and then blaming her for everything. She was like, at the end of the day, you did it. You went over there and you made a decision. Even if your mom covered up, you could have, that didn't stop you. You could have still told your family. You could have still told Marvin and Juke like you did it by accident, if it was really accident. You used to that. Yeah, you are used to the dynamics of your mom covering your shit up, you doing crazy shit, knowing and she covering it up, and which is causing you to not take accountability well, just like your mother, because she doesn't take accountability well. And I love that Juke pointed that out. She was just like, you can't keep blaming your mom, is on you. Like, basically saying like, like, you ain't shit. You ain't never really been shit. because that's what you all about. You do fucked up shit. Everything, you never want to stand in it. You always want to blame Rock, and like you getting too old for that. Like that shit is corny at this point, and you're gonna have to take accountability. You killed our uncle. Period. So again, I don't know. Now that Marvin and Juke know, I don't know how they're gonna move forward with Rock and Kanan. I don't I don't see this, you know, whole family dynamic. It seems like, you know, it has like officially fallen apart. So we'll see how this looks going forward, but it does not look well at all. So I don't know. We shall see. And then next we have Famous's mom um, going and dropping off some things at Rock's house. She was dropping off to Rock's guard, and Rock heard and opened the door and invited her in. So they're just like chit chatting. And you know, Famous mom is just a sweet lady. Is just saying like how Famous, you know, loved Kanan and um, you know, thought the world of him and thought highly of the family. Just, you know, sharing things about her son and different things like that. And she's just having mom guilt about, you know, her and Famous having problems, and him spending time living with Kanan and Rock for a little bit, and you know, them just having problems. And she was just went to Rock and said, you know, like, did he, you probably heard like crazy stories of us not getting along. And Rock is like, nah, he always just said he loved you, like he never spoke bad at you. And she's like, oh, that's sweet of you to say, even though it's not true. And Rock is just like, no, it's true. And she's just like, Kramer's mom's just still hurting, crying, still distraught. And you know, it's just nice of um for her and Famous's mom to kind of talk after everything happened, because they don't really get a chance to talk like that. And you know, Rock is just trying to keep it peace and saying like and they start talking about Lou because Famous's mom is, you know, apologizes and gives her condolences for Lou's death, and how, you know, her sister thought the world of Lou and Lou thought the world of her sister. And I always forget that like Lou was dealing with Famous's sister too, so their families are very intertwined. And yeah, it's just like very intertwined. So it's kind of sad they haven't the two mothers haven't had a chance to talk, because even with their families intertwined, they never really got to talk like that. And Famous's mom just shares like, you know, Lou always say he looked up to you and wanted to be like you and thought you was the strongest person he knew. And Rock was like, that doesn't sound like him. She was like, no. She's like, one thing I'm learning, you know, with her son's death, like, you know, you're finding out how your family, your loved ones are really like. And she's like, no, he really said that and really thought that. So you're seeing both of them kind of have this reflective moment about everything, you know, just them as mothers, their families' connection, the craziness of everything, how young, you know, Famous and Kanan are, all this crazy violence and death is around, you know, around them. And um but it was good that they got to have that talk, because it seemed like Famous's mom is like moving away, because she said before she came in she was on her way to the airport. So it's good that they were able to have like that kind of last powwow before she kind of leaves the area. So, you know, it was good to kind of, and to see Rock be like a mom, because she's always in that gangster mode. So it was good to see that softer side of her, which is, you know, as soft as Rock could be. So I really thought that was a good scene. So yeah, we'll see what's next. So now we have Mr. Breeze back with Stefano at Stefano's restaurant. So now we see that Stefano had Breeze following around those dudes. Now realizing like, oh, those are like the other people that Rock is connected to. I think they're trying to see all the dealings that Rock still has, to try to see if they can take him out. And I didn't realize those were two different dudes. The one, the big boss coming out the club, and one at the apartment building. One was like Colombian, one is maybe Middle Eastern. Um, and Breezy just letting them know like his findings. And he's basically just cautioning Stefano to be like, "Yo, it's not really worth it. Like, um, it's just not really worth the trouble. Like I don't think we should make a move with any of those men. Like that can bring us more problems. Like we think it's gonna, of course this will mess up Rock, but it's gonna bring problems on us. And like, is it worth it? Like sometimes the best thing is to do nothing at all. Cause they already got rid of that other Middle Eastern dude who was Rock's main connect. That's gonna be a problem for her. So he's like, we already, kind of put a wrench in things for her. Like, it's nothing, anything else more would kind of be extra. And of course, Stefano's being extra bitch ass and like, oh, I want to not cut her off the knees. I'm gonna cut her off at the neck and just being too much. And he was just like, Breeze is like, I'm not trying to tell you, how like what to do and how to live your life. I'm just giving my being my opinion, my diagnosis of the situation, like, cause you moving with feelings, and it's not that you want to bring more shit to you because you just being reactive. Um, and like Stefano calms down, which I'm surprised, and he's just like, like you're right, like my bad for getting mad, and like, actually showing appreciation for Breeze being having some caution and thinking of and being strategic. And because Stefano is very petty, he's very vengeful. He's just, I don't even know how he got to that position because, like, you let Stefano lead you, he will lead you straight into the pits of hell. So it's crazy how he even got that position because he does not have leadership qualities like at all. So it's he's just like, oh, like you're different from your predecessors, basically like saying like oh, you're different from working with Rock and Marvin, like you're not as reactive, and Stefano needs that type of energy. Like he needs to stop being so reactive and petty and vengeful, and because that's how he gets himself in trouble. So we'll see how Breeze and Stefano relationship continues to grow. And then next we have Marvin is shooting and busting in Kanan's apartment. He shoots and shoots the lock off the door, and like Kanan's crew is like in there, chilling, probably waiting for Kanan to come, and they're like totally scared. They're like, "Oh my God, please don't kill us!" And Marvin kind of comes to himself like, "What am I doing?" And I'm like, "Yeah, what are you doing? Why are you?" Like he's just, I don't know. Marvin is just very explosive energy. So I don't know what he was gonna. I don't know if he at a moment still wanted to kill Kanan. I have no clue. I don't know. So next we cut to Garcia. He's at his old that black dude, his old captain's retirement party. So he go up in there, asks to speak to the captain on the side, basically asking about Famous, and he's finding out and say he had that talk with that dude. I think his name was Tanner or something. This other high ranking officer, saying like they heard it was dirty cops that killed Famous, and you may know about it. And he was like, I found out that you didn't retire voluntarily, child. Once he said that to the captain got all defensive and was like, just got super defensive. So now Garcia is seeing like, okay, something going on here, because why are you so defensive? Why can't you just answer my question? So I think Garcia is seeing for himself, something's there, even though he doesn't know fully, but he definitely knows something is muddy in the water. So we'll see if he's as he continued to collect information, is he going to tell Juke? Is he waiting to get like more definitive information before telling Juke? So we shall see how it goes, but it's getting very, very interesting. So now we're with Breeze and Kanan. There, Breeze is visiting Kanan. He's seeing how tore up Kanan is, but Kanan doesn't want to let him know, you know, the truth about everything. So he's just saying like, Breeze is just like, if you let me know who it is, we can deal with it. But he's like, nah, it's on me, and I'll deal with it because I think he knows like that's gonna look crazy to Breeze. And when he found out that he killed his uncle and the mom helped, cover it up, it's just gonna be. I think he's afraid that's gonna mess up how Breeze views him. Um, and he's liking like the familial feeling he's or in bond that he's grown with Breeze. Since he doesn't have it with Rock, and now officially doesn't have it with Marvin or Juke. So I think he just wants to hold on to that as much as possible. And Breeze, they go up to the corner and there's a new car, and Breeze, uh, lets him know he bought a new car. But before that, he was just like, oh, maybe you should lay low, Kanan, because kind of busted up. We don't want the crew to kind of get any ideas and think you weak or whatever. And Kanan's just like, please, like, I'm not thinking about that. Like, they should be free. Like, this doesn't matter. Like, that doesn't mean anything. I'm not ashamed of it, and I wish they would. So, of course, Breeze likes that talk, and so he lets Kanan know that the car they walking up to, that's his car. He bought him a new car. He was like, we had to get rid of your old one, and um, you know, stuff that they did at the old spot that they used to work at out of. So it's kind of like new car, fresh and new, move forward. And Kanan lets them know like, oh, like my mom, like she did the same thing. She bought me a new car, and and Breeze is a little offended. He was just like, I'm not your mom. And Kanan's just like, nothing's for free. He was like, no, I'm giving it to you because I want to give it to you. I don't want anything from you. Like, I know you may think like the family thing don't mean nothing because like stuff with your mom, but like that means everything to me. And so Kanan, look like he feels bad. And he's just like, my bad, and it's really dope car, and thank you. And so Breeze is like happy again. So they go off in the car. So, we'll see how that goes. So, cut to we see Marvin visiting Lou's grave. He's just really, you know, emotionally kind of gutted and just lost and just feeling very introspective and just drinking a bottle of Hennessy and just letting Lou know like he, doesn't have the same feeling about anything, like how he views the drug game, just everything. And he wants to, live his life where he's doing right by Lou or, feel like he's standing, but he's just like super lost. He misses his brother. And definitely after finding out that Kanan killed him and Rock helped cover it up, I think he just, he's going through a transition period. Everything's changing. Like nothing of what meant before has that same meaning anymore. Of himself, him being a drug dealer, a gangster, even family. So it's just super sad. But like the guy who I think his name is London, who plays Marvin, he's just so phenomenal. Him and Patina who plays Rock, they're just like so phenomenal. They're such phenomenal actors. Like so they really are like the standout characters in this series. Definitely this season. Like they have been acting, and they're just amazing. I didn't even I always forget like Marvin, the guy who plays Marvin. I think his name London. He's a stand-up comedian. That's how he started. Like he's an actor too. Um, but they say comedians make the best dramatic actors. So he's definitely living up to that. That theory. So He's just an amazing, 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 amazing. So we'll just see how it goes. It's just super, super sad. And next we have Miss Rock going to go see Lou's old like psychiatrist when he was like in rehab, and he's just looking at Rock like, "What are you doing here?" And she's going to him asking like, "Oh," basically trying to find out like what are the things like my brother used to say about me, and he's looking at her like, "Girl, that's like client privilege. Like I can't tell you that. And even that the fact that Luz passed away, like I'm not going to tell you that." And she's just like, "Why? Like, what does it matter? He's dead. Like, what does it matter? Why can't you tell me?" And he's just like, "No, like it doesn't matter at this. Like, why are you here? Because like basically just let her know like." And she's like, "Oh, you're always trying to make things about me." He like, "No, no, everything's about you. When you come in here and you sit in that couch, like everything's about you. You make everything about you." Like, you not even coming here asking me like, "Oh, how was the experience for my brother? How was anything?" Is like, "Oh, what was he saying about me?" Like, girl, like, how you gonna project that to him and you make, you're self-centered and selfish. So I love how he like read her down in the most like, you know, professional way. So I don't know what Rock was looking for. I think she was just, probably just doing that out of guilt to see like, oh, did he really say like he looked up to me and wanted to be like me? And um yeah, is that stuff that she was just trying to, probably just of her own guilt of how Lou died. So I don't, she wasn't going to find out anyway. And I don't know. It is what it is at this point. So now we back with Kanan. He's back with his crew. He's trying to, I guess, gather the troops to get them working against it. He's been out from his mollywopping. And, they're just kind of shook because of the other boy in their crew that, Rock killed. They're like a little shook up. And then one of them kind of speaks up and just saying, like, we seen you got beat up and the other dude got killed. Like, can we just chill? Maybe just reassess. And Kanan did not like hearing that. He feel like maybe the guy was talking back. So he kills this boy. I guess to kind of assert dominance, and that puts the rest of the crew in check. And he was, just basically talking junk of like, I don't want no anybody else scared. I don't want no else scared and shook in my crew. I'll make you unscared and unshook, child. So he got them in line and they getting back to work, child. So we cut to the old captain went up to Garcia house and they yapping, and he, basically comes clean about everything. About how he had dealings with Snap and Pop, and he was basically like he, kind of like they were both like informants for each other. He was an informant for Snap and Pop and vice versa. And he was just basically saying how I always said they were like thirsty and obsessed with Rock and always trying to see how they can like take her down or get information on her. And you know Famous, he had killed like a problematic drug dealer, so he was under the police's radar. They was just trying to get him. And he just kind of flagged to Snap and Pop that Famous was, best friends and super close with Kanan, who's Rock's son, and thought like, didn't think that was going to be anything, but just trying to feel like he's giving them some type of information to make it seem like a mutually beneficial relationship. So he, had no idea they was going to actually hurt and kill Famous. And so, all of that is revealed to Garcia, and he's just like, totally thrown in. Even the captain is just saying like, everybody was dirty at their precinct. Howard, the Latin chick, and he's basically like, "Oh, Garcia, you're like the only clean cop." And I'm like, Garcia don't want to tell, like, Ain't no Garcia's not clean at all. Nobody was clean. He just hides it better and doesn't do crazy stuff as often. You know, as the rest of them. So everything's coming to the surface with all of this. So it's we'll see if and how he tells Juke all of this, because you know how is she going to tell Kanan? How is this all going to unravel? This is just very interesting. So very intrigued to see how and what happens next, Steph. So next we have Marvin. He's spending time with Flossie and kind of just asking how her grieving process was with her daughter and how she felt when she got back at her daughter's boyfriend. And she's just like, it didn't make her feel any better. And Marv was like, "Oh, you got even." And she was like, "No, even is, worse than nothing. It doesn't provide anything. It doesn't give you any peace. It doesn't do anything." And she just gives them advice of like, how you get yourself together is like pouring into your daughter, making sure she has better, does better, set her up to be the best she can be, whatever she wants to do, which is smart. I mean, it's unfortunate she wants to be in a drug game, but you know that is something Lou will want. He will want him, Marvin and Juke to be the best and do the best at whatever they want to do, even if it's street shit. So, um, we'll see. We'll see how. It's definitely looking like Marvin and Flossie are getting closer. So we'll see how this goes. Um, and we cut to Stefano and Breeze. They're meeting up with um, actually, one of the connects of Rock's connects, basically trying to strike a deal where if they know, just making it seem like Rock is problematic and she's not a good business person, and Stefano saying like, I have problems with her, she only brings problems, and Breeze proposes for them to work with him, and they're going to give him a 5% on top of what Rock's paying them, and they're just looking like, what about Pino? Like, we don't want no problems. And Stefano's like, let me worry about Pino. And then they're like, what are you doing this for? Are you just doing this just to get back at Rock? And Stefano's basically like, we're giving you a gift. Like, like, what are you asking us all these questions? You should just take it. So they basically oblige and they accept. So we shall see how this goes. And they're just being really, Stefano's doing a lot with Rock. Like, I still don't think this is going to go well. And Pino is going to have a problem. And Flossie, like, they just not thinking. This is just going to be very problematic for Stefano and Breeze. It really, really is. And so next we have the unfortunate. We see the old captain in his office look like he's probably in his office at home and putting on his old captain's uniform, and he basically you know commits suicide, and I just think it's just because he knows this is like, he doesn't want to deal with the consequences of his actions, because the FBI is looking into all of this and all the bad doings of that precinct, and he knows a lot of stuff is gonna come up about him, probably, that he can't answer to. It just ruined his whole reputation. He may possibly have to do some time, and also put his life in danger. So I think he just felt like that was probably, he's jumping in front of the gun because he just thinks his life is ruined, his reputation is ruined, and so much of his identity, his whole identity, was being that police chief. So I just think he doesn't see himself outside of it, or making it out on the other side of this. So that was just super sad. So we'll see how, I mean, Garcia knows everything, but we'll just see how he moves once this happened, and again, how and when he tells Juke all of this. So it's a super cute scene. It's outside in the park. Is Marvin with his two girls, with Juke and his little white niece. He has them officially meet each other, and he's saying, "Oh, if anything happens, I want y'all to know or get to know each other." And they're like worried and saying like they don't want nothing to happen to him, and he's just reassuring them like, "No, nothing's gonna happen, but you never know." And it's just that time for y'all to get to know each other, which I agree. I think because he genuinely cares about that white girl, and um, he doesn't want to do it. He doesn't want to have to hurt her. So I think now that he is gun ho and fully with supporting Juke, he wants to let Juke like she's important too. This little girl's important too, which is smart. Um, and he basically goes and asks her like, "Oh, are the cops bothering you again?" And she's just like, "Yeah, they're still asking questions, and they're still thinking I'm lying because one of the neighbors said they saw a black guy come in the house at her old foster home or her abusive foster father." And Juke is just looking like, "Wait, what is going on?" And the little girl still didn't tell. She said she doesn't remember, she doesn't know, so she still didn't tell the cops anything. And so Juke goes and tells the girl to play, on the swings, and she'll be right there. And Juke is just like, "What did you do?" And he's just like, he doesn't tell her. He's just like, "I can't get into it right now," but it's basically like no good deed is left unpunished. And basically saying like, "I'm gonna need you to talk to Garcia because he needs help." With basically probably trying to see probably to calm down the cops that are looking into this case. So we cut to um, Kanan and Breeze. Kanan is, on one. He's having a lot of Marvin energy in this scene of wanting to get back at his mother for shooting at that guy and his team. Also for he's making it seem like it's just about that, but I think it's about everything. Probably also telling Marvin that he killed Lou. It's just a lot of stuff, and Breeze is listening. He's just like basically disagreeing with him. He's just like, yeah, you making it seem like Rock wants to get at all of us, but she only wants to get back. She's only doing it to you, and where everybody else is going to be collateral damage. And you can't be so reactive. You have to be strategic and know when your time is to strike. Like sometimes you got to wait and observe. And now we're seeing, because by the time we saw Kanan in Power, he had that type of energy. He, especially with had revenge on Ghost and how he formed a relationship with oh my god, I can't remember the boy's name, with Ghost's son, Tariq. Sorry, yes, Tariq. With forming a slow relationship with Tariq. So we're seeing like how the beginnings of Kanan kind of transition of his groom, of having that very vengeful energy, kind of like his family, his mom and his uncles, but also the transition of him also getting groomed by Breeze, and not always being so reactive. Even though Rock is definitely not super reactive, she could get hot, but she's definitely the most strategic out of her family. But it's obvious, since Rock didn't really want Kanan in the game like that, and Kanan is very hard headed when it comes to his mom. He's more receptive to Breeze's, advice. So he's starting to pull that out, which is a personality trait that he has from his mom. It's just that no one has been able to pull that out, of being more strategic and more patient. And Breeze, we're starting to see like how Breeze is coaching him in that way, which is awesome writing. How they're doing that is very, 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 very awesome. How they're showing that transition. It's just such great writing on the show. It's just very, very dope. And so we cut to Garcia and Juke in the food spot. He's letting her know that it was Snap and Pops who killed Famous, and it wasn't those two. And they work with the NYPD, but it wasn't the cops who were working with Rock. And he doesn't know who the cops were, but it was not those two cops that's working with Rock. And he basically just lets her know, like, he gives her back her money. He's like, I should have never been doing nothing with you. And the more I'm finding out about all the crooked shit that his precinct was doing, he's like, I'm not built for that. So he gives her back her money. He never spent it, and Juke takes it back, and she's just like, also being transparent of like, I don't even know why I did all of that with you. Like, I didn't really know what I was doing either. And they kind of laugh it off, which is good because their energy was getting too tense. But she does, let him know, like, there's one more thing, like, before they sever ties like that, she wants him to look into, which is, assuming is what, to help her father about that case. And so we cut to um, Rock talking with Hafiz. I always forget his name. That is the Middle Eastern dude named Hafiz, about meeting with him at his office. He's basically letting her know, like, cutting ties and not working with her no more. And she's just like, what's going on? He's like, I'm working with someone else. And she's just like, okay, you could work with someone else. Like, we can still work together. Like, why do you have to cut off ties? And he's just like, no, like, we can't work. Like, it has to be. And his partner, like, I guess his other dude is just like, no, it can't. And so she puts two and two together. She's like, oh, you working with Stefano? And he doesn't admit it. He's just, and she's like enraged because she um, Stefano's just being vindictive and vengeful, and she's basically just like, you know, kind of low key threatens Hafiz. It's just like, you always act like you go by all this honor and ethic and code, but you basically like a punk. Like, you don't stand for nothing. As soon as somebody come to you with something, he on some bullshit. And you just like go over to him. So I don't know. Again, this is not gonna go well because when sorry for the noise, child, noisy neighborhood. But when Rock tells Pino this, and if they tell, I don't know if they're gonna tell Flossie this, is I don't think it's gonna go as smooth as Breeze and Stefano think is gonna be. So I'm not looking forward to that at all. But they put themselves in this so well. So now we have Jarita at Flossie's crib. She's basically let her know, like, she's cutting ties. She's quitting her job. Flossie doesn't look too surprised, and she's just basically like, yeah, girl, you was never built for this. Which I agree with Flossie. Like, she not. She just let Kanan get into her head. I think she's not built for it from that part. I think she lost focus. She's allowing Kanan to make her lose focus because it's like, girl, what are you going to do? You think Kanan's going to take care of you and your family give you money? Like, and how long you think that's going to last? Like, I just think it's really stupid. And Flossie looks super disappointed. So Drita leaves and she kind of doesn't close the door completely. So we see her go down the hallway. Here come Kanan. So Kanan, I guess she's letting Kanan know where Flossie lives. So Kanan goes in. He got his gun out, and he's walking through Flossie's crib, but she catches him, puts a gun to his head. So Flossie thinking like, oh, you thought like you and Drew was gonna rob me or something? He's just like, nah. He was like, and he reveals to her like, I'm here because of Rock. If you working with Rock, and she's like, why? And lets Flossie know like I'm her son. So Flossie's like, what the fuck? Like, what is what is going on? So we leave off there with that, and then we cut to Rock and Marvin. They driving up. Marvin, Rock like cocks her gun. She looks like she about to go in and kill someone. Marvin does not look like he's like, yo, like this don't feel good. Do you really think we should be doing this? And she's basically like, She has her mindset, and she goes in and she kills the partner who works, the guy, other Middle Eastern dude who works with Hafiz. She goes in, he runs out in the back, Marvin shoots him, so they kill that dude. And Rock looks like she feels great about it, and Marvin looks like he does not. He just knows it's going to bring more problems, and he's even looking like he don't even want to be going down this rabbit hole with Rock. Because at the end of the day, it's all this vengeful energy between Rock and Kanan and Stefano, and he's just like when this is not going to end well, and he's not having that blind loyalty to Rock anymore. You seeing that start this shift, so I definitely get it because it's not going to end well. You getting other people involved, so and even Kanan doing that with Flossie, like why are you doing that? Like why are you doing all of that? Because I don't even know if Breeze knows he's doing that. So, but also Kanan doesn't know what Stefano and Breeze are doing. So everybody's doing the most on this show as typical power show. So we'll see how it goes. It was another great episode. Thank you so much for watching, and hope you continue to watch my reviews of Raising Kanan. It's my favorite power series, and if you like my content, please feel free to like, subscribe, comment. Greatly appreciate it. And again, this is your girl Yavo. Follow me for more reviews of more things that I love to watch, to stream, TV, film, everything. So thank you so much. Take care.